What is JavaScript's prototype model? Imagine building a house where each room can borrow furniture and decorations from a neighbor. That's kind of how JavaScript's prototype model works. It's a way objects share properties and methods without copying them all over. Instead of using templates like in some languages, JavaScript uses objects that can inherit directly from other objects. Every object has a special link called a prototype, which is another object it can look to for shared stuff. When you ask an object for a property or a function, JavaScript first checks if it has it. If not, it looks at its prototype. If it's still not there, it moves up the chain to the prototype's prototype, and so on. This chain is called the prototype chain. It keeps going until it hits an object that has no prototype, which is usually object prototype. This object has common methods like toString and has own property. When you create an object using object literal syntax or the new object function, its prototype is set to object prototype. That's why all objects can use these shared methods. Functions in JavaScript also have a prototype property. When you use a function as a constructor with the new keyword, the object created gets its prototype from the constructor function's prototype property. This setup allows multiple objects created from the same constructor to share methods and properties stored on the prototype. For example, if you make a constructor called animal and add methods to animal prototype, every object you create with new animal will have access to those methods. This way, you don't have to duplicate code on each object. You can also manually change an object's prototype using object-set-prototype-of. Or the proto property, though the first method is safer and clearer. This lets you make custom inheritance chains where objects inherit from other objects in a specific order. The chain ends when JavaScript reaches an object whose prototype is null, which is the case with object prototype. If a property isn't found anywhere in the chain, JavaScript returns undefined. Understanding how prototypes work helps you write better object-oriented code in JavaScript. It makes your code more organized, reusable, and easier to extend. You can create custom constructors, extend built-in objects, and build inheritance patterns that keep your code clean and manageable.